Yo, I don't know what day this will be, because I just don't know. I haven't checked, but, I wanted to talk about something quite interesting that I was thinking about while sitting here. Usually I'm upstairs in my room, but I thought, I was downstairs, I was watching The Walking Dead or whatever, and I was sitting here, and I realised that and it kind of reminded me of when last week I sat here and I was watching a documentary about chess and I was producing my song. And I was kind of reminiscing about it. I was like, oh yeah, that was a really good evening that I did that. I was sitting here and, right. But at that time of me, got some strawberry milk here, pick up strawberry milk. At that time of me doing that producing, mixing the song whilst recording it, did I think, oh, what a lovely evening I'm having. I'm watching this chess documentary on Netflix. It's about Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann. And I'm mixing the new song. Was I thinking, oh, what a lovely evening I'm having? No. Not a single thought in my head was like, I was down here till 4 a.m, 3 a.m, producing and mixing this song, stressed in my head to the maximum, just trying to get the song done. Like, there was no realization of, wow, isn't this a great night? And I'll look back at this fondly. It was just pressure, it was just stress, it was just everything that I feel every single day. And then I was kind of realizing that, and then how did it go? How did my train of thought go? I was just kind of thinking that, yeah, so then I thought, I don't know if this is moving, by the way, or it's me bugging out, and I feel like it is moving, sorry about that. And then I thought, to enjoy the process, you know, and you hear it all the time, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, whatever. But how am I meant to enjoy this process and this journey when the stress that I have on myself is like at an all-time high? I'm still in the trenches. I'm still not living off music full time. So how am I ever meant to be content? The pressure I set on myself is immense due to this album coming out. So how am I ever meant to enjoy the journey when there's so much uncertainty and so much stress in my head? So much, you know what I mean? It's like, how am I ever meant to kind of think that way when there's just so much going on that that kind of provokes me to think ahead, to kind of have stress upon myself and to not be present, right? It's really interesting because I always do this. This is such a common thing. At the moment of doing something, I am literally like, I can't stand it. But then a couple of weeks from now, I'm like, that was a nice evening. And it's not even like I can't stand it. It's just I'm just too busy. I'm too stressed to even take a step back and to even just consider, wow, look at me on my laptop producing this song on my debut album, learning, you know, improving with every single song. Wow, look at this. Oh, wow, I'm really enjoying this documentary. I'm not thinking that, I'm just doing it. And then in 2 weeks' time, it's, oh, that was a good time. Why don't you think about the journey? Like, why don't you appreciate the journey more? And then I list all the above. I'm still working a part-time job. I'm still doing this. I'm still doing that. Debut album hasn't dropped. I do everything myself. If I don't do everything myself, then nothing gets done. You know what I mean? It's all, and then it just all compounds. Just like, how can I ever be present and all this shit? And it's not even shit. That's the thing. I don't mean shit in like a me slandering it, because I agree with it. I'm meant to be that. I'm saying shit in terms of the quantity of stuff that I'm meant to be doing differently. And it's getting a lot. I don't know. Recently, I'm on it now. I feel like I'm able to convey my thoughts very well now. But recently, a couple of days ago, I have just been. I feel like I see a lot of people talk about brain fog, but I never know what it is, because I feel like it's because it's a mental thing. I'm not able to kind of be like, I don't know if it's like I don't know if brain fog is a, what's the word? Like a unique feeling for everyone. I don't know if my brain fog, I don't know if my dog's brain fog, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's like a specific feeling, or if it's a unique kind of condition for everyone, right? But again, I don't even know if this is brain fog, but recently I've not been able to articulate my thoughts properly. I feel like I'm very agile with like the way I can perceive my thoughts and stuff like that. And recently I just haven't been able to, like, literally at work today, people were asking me about shoe sizes and like, do you have that in store? And I'm literally struggling to, in my head, like, speak, and it's not a difficult question. Like, they're asking me like, oh, do you have this online and stuff like that, or do you have, and I'm unable to kind of transmit my thoughts into speaking, which is weird. It's a weird feeling. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know. But yeah, I just find it interesting from now, because I know the thing that really annoys me about doing this and journaling and doing the posts that I haven't been doing on my social media account is that I am so aware of my flaws. I'm so aware of things that I should be doing that I'm not doing. I'm so aware of things that you know, the greatest entrepreneurs of all time say to do, and whatever, blah blah blah, blah, and great musicians. And then I'm like, oh, I should be this, I should be that, I should be that. But I don't do it. I just don't. So like the idea of, say brain fog, for example, take stress, for example. The idea of, oh, you should do this to kind of decompress, you should do this to do that. And yeah, sure, but I'm not gonna do it. And the thing that annoys me is that it's weird, right? Because I guess it's a double-edged sword. I actually I journaled about this once. And it's such an interesting kind of conundrum. Such an interesting conundrum, and I still don't know the answer to it. At the end of the journal, I kind of said like, oh yeah, I'll come back to it. And I didn't, because I'm still kind of perplexed about it. And it kind of goes like this. Let me try and word it the best. Is it better to view your past with wholehearted truth, or is it better to view your past with kind of with rose-tinted vision, right? Because I don't know exactly what I wrote in this journal, but it was really interesting. I had a lot of time writing about it, but it's essentially that, for example, if I'm to look back at my past right now, I would say yes. A lot of hardship, a lot of discipline, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of that. But what if reality, it was hell? I hated every second of it. I hated learning everything from scratch. I hated the fact that I wasn't good, even though I wanted to be really good, and that struggle of not being good. But you know, you have these thoughts in your mind, and then they want, you know, you want them to be amazing, but you're not good enough to be able to convey those thoughts into music, right? And that's something I kind of still struggle with right now. I don't think I'm where I want to be songwriting wise, but I've definitely improved a lot. Is it better to have this rose tinted vision of, yeah, it wasn't that, like, I'm so grateful for that version of me because of him, I am now where I am. He really, you know, maybe I shouldn't have been so hard on myself when I was 22, 21. Maybe I shouldn't have been so hard on myself, because maybe I should have slowed down and all these things. Maybe I should have slowed down, and maybe he should have just, you know, enjoyed life more and not worked as hard as he did in music. Maybe then this, or maybe then that, and all this. Maybe he should have done that. It wasn't so bad. Or should it be how it was? You know, staying up till 4 a.m, playing the piano. I have no idea how to play the piano. Still don't know how to play the piano. But, you know, a lot of nights just sitting there, mindlessly just playing the piano on very little sleep after work. Playing the guitar, not knowing how to fit lyrics, your thoughts into these songs. The struggle of every single song you write you don't like, but you need to kind of keep producing songs. What would you prefer? And does it make a difference? Does it really make a difference between how I perceive my past and how I don't perceive my past? If I'm to see my past as this amazing experience and how it was, or this grueling experience of how it was, does it change how I act now? And if that's not the case, if it doesn't change how you are, why would you ever perceive your past in a damning way? Damning way? I guess I don't know. Why would you ever view your past in a bad light? Because if it doesn't change how you are now, if the actions have already occurred, what difference does it make to how I perceive my past? And then I think in the journal I was kind of alluding to the fact that if it contributes to your present actions, then that's when it's bad, right? So if I'm to say my past is amazing, and yet I was, I don't know, gambling my life away, just say that. You could use any vice, I don't know. And I was in severe debt, but I look back on my past and think, oh yeah, that was a great time. And it kind of leads into my present actions of continuously gambling until I'm in debt, whatever. I know it's like a weird, you know, obviously that happens to people, and it's a very dark addiction. It can go down to a very dark addiction. But for the purpose of this example, I'm saying, if you perceive, say, an addiction, a bad addiction, in a good way, and it alters your present actions, that's bad. But in terms of what I'm referring to, of the fact that I am slaving away, making these songs that are shit, and I am hating it, and then I look back and think, oh, wow, those are the good days, you know. Those are the good days where I was really grinding, I was doing the hustle thing, I was working really hard towards music, no one believed in me. What difference does it make? And it doesn't really. And that's kind of weird. And I think I was gonna say there's a lot of power into it, but I don't think it's weird, because does it change anything? So is there any power? Because again, like I've said, it doesn't change anything. But if it's not to change anything, why would you ever look back at your past in a negative light? But there's a caveat. Obviously, if bad stuff have happened to you in your past, for example, when I was like 17, 18, couldn't leave the house, very depressed. I'm not going to look at that in a good light. I'm just not going to, because it wasn't a good time. So I'm not referring to those times, right? If there were very bad times in your past, I'm not expecting you to... I'm not expecting you to do anything. I'm just speaking to myself. But I wouldn't expect myself to look at that in a good light, because it's not a good time. But what I'm talking about is these moments of struggle, these moments of me sitting on my laptop, producing the song, watching the chess documentary. Yeah, that was actually a good time. But at that moment in time, I wasn't thinking of it like that. There was not, like I said, there wasn't one time where I was just kind of sitting there like, this is a good time. It's just, I just find it interesting. I just feel like the fact that, and especially if it were to be bad, right? If something were, like, say what I said before, is that, say if I were to look back at my past in a very bad way, with the struggling with the songwriting, the this, that, I'm more likely to look back at it, because your mind kind of what's it called? It tends to ruminate on bad things that have happened. I feel like that's kind of what it does, because it's trying to analyze things, right? How can that not happen again? How can, it's like trying to solve problems, right? So if you were to kind of just accept it, that's what's happened, then you're less likely to think about the past, and you're more likely to be present. Yeah. But I know for a fact that when I'm 26, 27, coming off of my latest tour, coming off of my second album, wherever that guy's up to, I don't know. I don't care. I will look back on this debut album process as so fondly. So fondly. Oh, you made it in your childhood bedroom. You produced it all yourself. You wrote it all yourself. It was after a really bad breakup. Remember that breakup? Remember that? Remember all that? Oh yeah, I know, I'll laugh about it. But he doesn't know. Or he probably does know. It's just... But is that a bad thing? Like I said, is that a bad thing? That version of me will look at the good things. He won't look at the fact that I spent, with one of the songs, I literally couldn't, I was numb in my left leg. My hand was like in agony because I was recording the song for 6 weeks. He will look back at that very fondly, ha 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 ha. And yes, you can say, a lot of, that's where the growth comes from. That's where, I feel like a lot of people say that, like, a lot of the memories you kind of keep are the ones that contain this kind of pain, or contain this growth, or contain this unique experience, and that unique experience tends to come from pain and growth, right? So yeah, I will look back on that all the time. But is that, and it's because I challenge myself, I guess. I wouldn't remember it if it wasn't difficult. But at the time, I hated it. I sat there for like 10 hours, 8 hours, recording these takes. And then I had to do it all again because the microphone didn't work. And yeah, I guess these kind of challenges, as I'm saying it now, I'm kind of smiling, right? So I guess I already am looking back at it with some fondness. And again, is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? Does it make a difference if it is or not or isn't? No. I don't know. But I will look back on this debut album with a lot of fondness. Whilst recording this album, there's just so much uncertainty, so much doubt, so much uncertainty, so much pressure, so much stress in my head. I wake up every day and the first thing I do is pick up my guitar and think, you're not good enough. It's what happens every single day. You're 24, you need to hurry up, kind of thing. I don't know when that will stop. I don't know if that will ever stop. My self-worth is determined on metrics right now, and my self-worth is dependent on achievements, which I know isn't good. But yeah, I don't know. I do find it strange how I will look back on these moments with fondness, but in the present moment, I'm not thinking that way at all. I'm just fully focused on getting the songs done. And I'm worried if I'll regret not being present. But does that make a difference? Because time always passes. It's like, I remember looking back, kind of being like, oh, I wish I did this at university, I wish I did that at university. But if I was more present at university, even though I didn't like my course at uni, it doesn't make a difference because time passes. It doesn't freeze time whether I'm present or not in a uni lecture that I don't like. You know, that is just a moment in time where I was and that where I'll never be again. I kind of have this kind of thought in my head that if I'm present, time slows down, and I guess to an extent literally it doesn't, right? Literally time will always move at a certain rate, right? 1, 2, 3. But when you're present, you're more likely to kind of remember, right? So literally it doesn't slow down, but it is that sense of slowing down, right? It's that sense of mental clarity, mental clarity. It's that sense of being able to kind of be aware of like where you are. And recently it's not even recent. I feel like I've spoken about this before. When I'm sleep deprived, I just always result back to I wish I did this, or I wish I didn't do that. I just always stick back to these regrets that I have in my past. And recently I've just been like, wow, how different would life be if I wasn't depressed in year 13 and I was normal like everyone else in year 13, and I was able to pick an actual university, and I didn't stay at home, and I didn't feel like I'm missing out. Why wasn't I more present? because whilst everyone was picking universities, I was inside at home, afraid to leave the house because of depression, anxiety. Everyone was going to these open days, and everyone was, oh, I can't wait to study this. I can't wait to do that. And meanwhile, I was just trying to make it through the day. And even just saying that out loud is just, it's really like kind of sobering. It's just, that was how, you know, when you're in sixth form, that's like the exciting moment of your life. You know, you go to university, you go to these places, you get to be independent and free. And meanwhile, I am laying in bed, hoping that one day I'll be all right. It's dark. It's really fucking dark. But that was my reality. Everyone was going to these open days. Everyone was, oh, I can't wait to. I mean, I'm literally trying to make it through the day. So do I feel like I've missed out? Yeah, I do. In terms of where I was at the time, I definitely made the right decision to stay at university in London. But sometimes I just wish that I just had a normal, I was just normal, I guess. I don't know. But then it just keeps going back to the fact that the thing that kind of changes my perspective about this. Because yeah, I can spiral about this and wallow about this and whatever, but the thing that kind of changed my perspective about this recently is that I wouldn't be doing music, or I don't know if I would have been. I don't know if I would have, met some of my closest friends. I don't know if I would have retained the friendships I have now. And I'm so grateful for the friendship group I'm in. And, the people I've met. And I found my love for the gym, and I found my love for playing tennis again, and music. And I can't speak about that version of me that had a normal sixth form because I didn't. I stayed inside all day. I didn't go to school. Like, I was severely depressed. So I can't speak for that version of me because that didn't happen. And that's probably why I am the person I am today. It is the person I am. It is the reason. It is who I am today. So do I feel like I missed out? Yes, I do. But would I change it? I can't say I would. I don't know. I really don't know. So, and what difference does it make? I remember when I was in final year uni, I would spiral so much. I would just be like, why did this happen to me? Why couldn't I, you know what I mean? Like, I would just spiral, and it's just not worth it, man. It's just not worth it. I think I've just gotten to the point more and more, I'm just so used to just realizing that it's not worth it. It's not worth looking back at things anymore. I'm so used to doing that. I feel like I'm just subconsciously wired. I feel like everyone is. I'm not saying like, I'm so unique. I feel like everyone is. But yeah. It's interesting. For sure. I don't know if I wouldn't change it, because I'm grateful that I found my purpose, and a lot of people don't. And I wish everyone would be able to, because I don't know what I'd do with myself if music didn't exist. I'm so in love with music. I really don't know. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't find music. And that's another thing. What if I didn't find music what if I didn't know my love for music, my love for creating music when I was at uni, if I went to a normal uni? See what I mean? There's no point kind of analysing these what if timelines, because those timelines don't exist. We're not in a multiverse, and even if we are in a multiverse, like in Marvel, I'm not part of that I'm not part of that timeline. So what difference does it make? But yeah, I'm very grateful that I've found my purpose, and I hope everyone does too, because it is a special feeling, man. Being able to just do what you love, and one day I'll be doing it full time, and I'll look back on these moments with fondness when the struggle that I had was immense. But as we discussed, it doesn't really matter how I look back or how I don't look back. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye. Good night. It's 2 a.m. I'm going to be recording the song called I Don't Know Who I Am No More tomorrow. Very easy song to make. I love it. I don't say that a lot about the songs I write, but this one I really enjoy.